Hey folks, this is Mary Buckham, and this is day 4 in our 5-day challenge. Wow, we got here quick. We're starting in just a second, so if you're in the classroom, go ahead and let me know you're on board. And okay. Oh, Amy's here from North Carolina. And Sandy from Australia. And Darlene, Kelly, yay. All right, good group here. Darlene, I just got feedback to your posting from yesterday, just a bit ago. And those who I have not responded to yet, I will. So don't give up on me here. Kate's on board. Christine, Claudia, Mandy. Mandy says, since I don't have a work in progress, I watch closely on others' exercises and feedback. And Mandy, that's brilliant. That's exactly what a lot of people forget to do. And I know all of us are challenged to find time and the effort, et cetera, to do that. But there's a boatload of explanation on everyone's posting that is not to be missed. So you may not be making a specific speed bump now in your work, but by simply going through others' work and seeing, okay, now I can see what's going on here. That is going to help you exponentially as you move forward. Hello, Jade. I've got 2 Facebook users. Nice to see you. And Polly has a question. I was about to post my exercise, but then got nervous when I saw the group is completely public. I had it in my mind it was going to be private. Did I have that wrong? Polly, we open the doors when it is something like body language, and there's not really a lot that you're going to feel uncomfortable necessarily with other people seeing. But if you don't want anybody to see your writing, if I close the doors, it takes 3 days on a good Facebook week. And we know how many people have experienced a good Facebook week. So in order to get the people in, they're still coming into the classroom. So either I shut it off for people before we even start in order to get those 3 days, it's gone up to 5 days, to make this private for the couple of people that want it private. So what I recommend you do, if you feel uncomfortable, don't post. Read other people's posting. But on something like the sexual tension course, where people don't want the whole world to know that they are writing something with sex in it, that one is private from the get-go. So, and had to learn that. So, there's a couple of people just are not going to feel comfortable having anyone on their general loop. And I understand that. But it also means cutting off people who want the help and have not gotten into the class, that type of thing. So I apologize for that. It's just to reach and help more writers on the courses. Like plotting is public, and then I can turn it private. And this one, we set it to go private here, but it hasn't taken yet. And it probably won't take until after the challenge is actually over. So we're getting lots of folks into the classroom yet. So I'm really glad, because this is going to be a fun lecture. This is kind of like the lecture that things pull together. So I'm going to go ahead here and start. And there'll be still people checking in. Saskia got here in time. All right. Today's lecture is going to be talking about body language and emotion. Remember, there's three major things that body language or nonverbal communication can get across to the reader. One is characterization. One is to reveal more conflict between a character and another character, or a character and the situation. Or the third one is to reveal emotion. Now, emotion is what the reader reads for without even realizing all the time that that's what they're doing. That's why you watch a particular kind of movie. And that's why movies, when you go and you see the previews for other movies, you can name who the target audience is for the type of emotion. It's like, that one's really scary. No, that's not what I want. That one is gentle and kind. That's not what I want. So same with our stories for people. Some stories are known for more emotion. For example, almost all romances, the readers are wanting not just to know whether these characters get together, but they want to know the feels, the how does it feel to ache and yearn and want and hesitate and doubt and then achieve, all emotions. So how do we reveal that? We can say so-and-so is happy or so-and-so is afraid, but it doesn't do it. That's that straight telling, and it doesn't pull the reader into the experience of your characters. Body language or nonverbal communication is how you do that. Now, body language on the page is one of the strongest ways that we can ratchet up the emotion of a scene, the story for the reader. And all you have to do is look at those rewrites from people who posted last night or yesterday in their homework, the hashtag EX2 assignment. You can see the difference from a pre-writing that most times doesn't have any emotion in it to the post writing, just by adding a few more words or a little tweet here, a little change there. So it's an extremely powerful tool. The most effective use of body language, as I said, is to understand the type of emotion your characters are experiencing. So it's not just about the hand did this and the ear did that and the back did something else. It has to be, what is the emotion? What is your intention for the reader to experience, to get you to zero in and focus on what nonverbal communication can help get that message across. But the other thing is to understand the degree of the emotion. Now, you can have emotions: contented, hopeful, pleased, happy, sadness, jealousy, anger, fear, whatever emotion you want. But it's not a one-note issue. Robert says, C.S. Lewis on writing, don't tell us it was delightful. Describe the scene so that the reader says delightful, or the reader feels delightful. Telling the reader something is delightful is simply asking the reader to do your work for you. Spot on. So here's some emotions, but that's not good enough. Let's take one of those emotions, contented. Now, I've created this graph, actually, tech guy, who is also a graphic guy, created this graph to give you an idea of the range of emotions that can fall under the larger concept of contented. So in the blue column are what I call low-level emotions. Mid-level emotions, degree of emotion, fall under the yellow, and high level falls under the red. So instead of thinking that contented is just one emotion and that all situations that a person is contented are going to feel the same. It helps you drill down into what your character might be experiencing. So, and you go from, we'll go start at the low level. We have agreeable. That's contented if it's agreeable. But then you go down the line and you go to accepting, which is the highest degree of the low level before you get over to the mid level that starts at cheerful. And then you go down. So it's from top to bottom when you're looking at these terminologies. Let me show you an example. I'm going to choose the emotion. It's a contented, but I'm going to choose the emotion accepting. So see where it is? It's in the blue column, but it's the strongest degree in the blue column. So it's accepting, which comes under contented. You could write, that part of my life is finished. You might get that. Be still, my heart, because there is no emotion there. It's simply words. And that, as C.S. Lewis via Robert sharing, it's asking your reader to figure out what kind of acceptance is that? Here's an example from Joanna Bourne in The Rogue Spy. She writes historical romances and is a very, very good writer. She held her hands out like cups and turned them over with a dreadful finality. That part of my life is finished. Okay, now she is accepting that, but it's not necessarily a warm and fuzzy. She's not tickled. She's not delighted. She's not ecstatic. She's not jubilant. Those are two strong emotions. She's not on the lower end of the contented. She's not agreeable. She's not peaceful. She's not satisfied. She is accepting of the situation. And it was the body language that shows the reader that emotion. Okay, let's take another high level part of contentment, which is excited. All the same overarching emotion, but drilling down to how excited. Now, excited is the second to the highest degree in the high level of contentment. Rough draft. Now that the $2 million were only moments away from his possession, he looked excited. You getting excited out of that? I mean, we're all readers. So this is our opportunity to look and say, Mary, that really doesn't make you feel, as a reader, excitement. This comes from Jasmine Cresswell, who is I think it was a book that was more like a romantic suspense. Now that the $2 million were only moments away from his possession, his excitement had escalated to the point that his breathing had become quick and shallow. Now we're deeper into the scene. We don't have tons of additional words. We don't have paragraphs describing. We just have a few incremental changes. The breathing, highlighted in red, is the nonverbal communication. We can watch and hear another person breathing that can tell us whether they are angry or excited. But the quick and shallow is what's describing that breathing, that clarifies that nonverbal communication that says this guy is excited. It shows plus tells. Okay, let's take a different emotion. Again, low level of this emotion is on the left in the blue, mid level is in the yellow, and high level is in the red. And it is shame or guilt. And here we all thought that shame or guilt was one emotion. No, it's variation, it's degrees of emotion. So let's look at some examples. This person could be suffering shame or guilt. Would you think that's low-level guilt, which would be hesitant, sheepish, stressed? Mid-level, which would be contrite, penitent, remorseful, or the high level, demeaned, humiliated, stigmatized? You can tell by this image body language which level or degree. Mandy says high. Absolutely. This is not a low level sense of crap. I should have done that a different way. Jade is using humiliated, which is in the high level. Okay. So let's look at a low level degree. He looked uncomfortable saying hello. That's straight telling. We're being told we're not seeing anything, so we're not feeling the emotion. Let's see how Dennis Lehane does that. His greeting was a nod and a blink, befitting someone who stepped out of the shadows only momentarily. Now, this level is self-conscious. And Dennis Lehane gives us two nonverbal communications using a nod and a blink, then explained why or what he saw as a result of that nod and blink. Someone else could have a nod and a blink, but by itself, it doesn't really make it clear. Someone could be surprised, someone could be frustrated, but we're looking for a specific message, which is self-conscious. So Dennis Lehane shows and tells. We're in the character's point of view. We're seeing what the character is seeing, this nod and this blink, and we understand what and why this character is acting that way. Let's look at a high level. Okay, this is Jade's humiliated. That's a high level of shame or guilt. And here, I'm not going to go with a rough draft. I'm going to go directly to the passage. This comes from Veronica Roth. This is a young adult dystopian novel. I feel like there's a bubble in my chest that expands more by the second, threatening to break me apart from the inside. Now, the core readership for this novel is young adults, the ones that are going through the hormonally challenged years and are feeling a lot of emotions really close to the surface. So that's what the author is tapping into here, is that being humiliated in front of your friends, your coworkers, your peers. This is how this is shown, that it's a bubble in the chest, but it doesn't stop there. It expands more by the second, and it's threatening to break me apart from the inside. So you get a much stronger degree of understanding the emotion without coming right out and saying, in this sentence, I'm humiliated. So instead of just thinking about an emotion, consider also the degree of the emotion, because it can make a huge difference. Jade says that this example, going back, could be fear or nervous. Well, what is humiliation? Is that it's that sense that you've been found out, everybody knows, so there are nerves here. but it's not fear. Now, you'd have to look at the larger context, but it is not. Because I know the larger context. It was clear that it was emotion. And this little passage here, I could post the whole page, but I didn't. I just wanted to show this part because you can see that the character is experiencing something strongly. Darlene says overwhelmed. And yes, that is part of what humiliation is. If you've ever felt humiliation, if you've stood up to in a corporate environment and gave your pitch for something and then had your nemesis basically say, well, didn't you read that that was already decided last week? But you had been so focused on doing, and now you look like a fool in front of everyone. That's what this one is trying to get across. So keep in mind, these are going to be in a larger context, but as a way to show that this is impacting her, and she doesn't feel just embarrassed, which is mid-level. She doesn't feel hesitant, which is low level. She feels humiliated, which is the halfway point between in the high level degree from being demeaned to feeling ostracized. And it is that fear of being ostracized that actually can drive this type of humiliation. Honey? Yes. Do you have a copy of at least these two slides? The shame and guilt and the...
I can put them up. You want me to put them up?
Yes.
Okay.
Put them in the file section. Okay.
Shame and guilt.
Just a second, I have to get tagged by to find the slide and contentment. Okay, so Darlene, to answer you, will you be sharing the slides as files? Tech Guy is going to go in and upload them into the file section. So their graphics, I think that's where they're going. So it's going to be either in the files.
We don't share the whole slideshows.
So it's only going to be those. And you can make these up yourself. You can take an emotion like fear or whatever emotion you want, and then think about it. Think about what's a low level of fear? What's a high level of fear? And what are you trying to reach for the characters? Those who are continuing on to the 5 or 6 week course are going to get a lot more of these slides. They're just not here to help you identify these. Okay. Any questions about this before I go to the homework or the exercise? Keep using that homework word, but exercise. Because the thing I want you to be thinking about is what exactly, what emotion or what conflict or what, but in this particular case, what is the emotion that is driving the messaging from the body? And if you've had a chance to read some of the answers to others, I have pointed out that the nonverbal communication can send mixed messages where two of the NVC are showing someone feeling threatened or aggressive, and then the third is showing something totally different. It confuses the reader. Ziona says, I got a color wheel type thing, which lists emotions and degrees going outward, purchased from Amazon. I find it helpful. Oh, I would have found that extremely helpful. Because to be aware of what it is you are writing. And this is where the reader, now be aware that what Ziona is sharing here, the emotion reel, is not going to match mine because there was no emotion wheel available when I put it together. So these were based on my personal experience and my deciding what is what. So the emotion wheel in both of these, you may find you don't agree with something, and that's perfectly all right. You want to make it, though, by thinking about this and going deeper and getting clear about what you are intentionally trying to let the reader understand or feel is this emotion at this degree. Okay. Oh, Robert posted it, the links. And then he posted an example. I think he posted it. I don't have who just said, here's one example. And I don't know if that'll come up as a it's not the example itself, it's a link to the example. Okay, now let's look at this day's exercise. I want you to look in your work in progress, and Mandy, you don't have one, so you just get to learn from others, for a passage focused on a specific emotion, whether that emotion is a positive one or a negative one. And I can guarantee you, you're going to find more negative emotions than you're going to find positive. Why? Because our stories have conflict in them. Our stories are developing from a worst case scenario to a best case scenario when you're writing commercial fiction. So expect to find more negative being shame or guilt, negative being fear, anger, whatever it is. Then what I want you to do, don't do this while you're driving, close your eyes and remember a time that you personally felt that same emotion. Not for the same reason as your characters, but how did you feel that emotion? So take a few minutes to remember and let your own body adjust to what it felt in that emotion. Right? Most of the time we take those bad memories and we want to throw them away because they were uncomfortable memories. But by literally getting into your own body, and you can't see your face, but you can feel within your body. Determine where you're feeling the emotion. Are you feeling it in your stomach? Are you feeling it tension-wise in your shoulders, on your back? You want to shake your hands out because you want to, whatever it is that you're feeling. And then I want you to write 1 or 2 paragraph passage with you experiencing this emotion using body language. Write this as if you were reliving the experience. Feel your breathing, your muscles, your head, your arms, your mouth. Go as deep as possible and write. Feel deeply and write deeply. Now, compare your firsthand experience to the earlier passage that you wrote. And what you're looking for is the differences. We as writers tend to be in our head, not our bodies, unless it's because we have a crick in the neck from leaning over the computer or carpal tunnel or something. But the point is that by going deeper into your own experience, and if you don't want to post your before and after to the Facebook group, because again, it will post to public view. You can just simply say, these are the differences I saw. That works. And it's the intention is that all the emotions we have our characters feel, we have felt even under different circumstances. So the actual exercise is to teach you that we can build on our personal knowledge to write fresher and deeper. But to do this, we must be willing to feel in ourselves how our bodies react with a specific emotion. You can post both the original usage and the rewrite to the group, or you can simply make a notation and let me know that you tried it and what differences you might have seen. So this is the reason why I'm asking you to keep it short, though, because I don't want a page. I don't want 2 pages of materials. I just want to see this is the situation. Show that in a paragraph, 2 max, then this is the rewrite. Okay. Any questions on the homework? It's already posted up into the group, into the file section. Saskia says, wait, hang on, you guys didn't feel what your characters go through? I've had pain in organs I haven't even got. Exactly. This is our gift, is our sense of empathy, but also a sense of being aware of those feelings. Now, because we're in our head a lot, we don't often put it on the page. So I'm going to answer any questions here, but for those who want to know, how do you know more? How do you understand body language and nonverbal communication more? I'll explain an option for you. If you don't want the option, don't worry. This is when you can sign out. This is when you can go back to your manuscript and take what you have. There is no way in the 5 days that we have together that we can go through what are all the parts of the body and examples of those explaining without body language and with body language, and then go through a number of the emotions. And then, so that's what I'm going to be talking about next, but you don't need to stay for that. And you can sign out at this point. So any last questions about what we talked to today? Okay. All right. For those who are staying tuned, I appreciate it. And I just want to let you know. Now, a number of you have already signed up for this class, and I appreciate that. And we're going to have a great time because it is a fascinating subject. But there is also, from May 1st to June 3rd, a 5-week deep dive, deeper than we even skimmed over the surface in these 5 days. And we're going to be talking about more time to review the lectures, listening to them, reading examples, study the material, practice what you're learning. So thank you, Louise. This is not for you. This is for those who might wonder, how do I go deeper? There's over 30 video lectures to review, and they're yours. You get to review them as many times as you want. You can stop, you can pause, and it's at your own pace. Plus, there's a weekly question and answer with me and review sessions. Ziona said, I signed up and it's highly recommended. I know as a writer myself, there were no color wheel charts. There was no, I would go to this conference and that conference, and they was talking for the need of emotion, but it didn't show me how to bring that emotion on the page so that it was not overwhelming, but it was very specific. So I created this workshop. Now, there's going to be step-by-step that builds your understanding, just like we did a few of these this week, with examples from authors of all genres. So this is not genre specific. It is depending on what you write, knowing how much, how little, or having someone who can say too much for what you're writing or not enough for what you're writing. There's the online private classroom that has the lectures and the class materials in one place. So it's not just this Facebook group, it is this online classroom. So once you access it, you're in there, you can get what you want. A year from now, you're writing a different manuscript, even a different genre. You can go back and review and say, okay, this is what she said about this kind of genre or subgenre that could be helpful. There's also 21 quizzes. So while just after you've listened to a segment, I've tried to keep the segment down to like 15 minutes, each segment or up to 30, then there's a quiz. And I'm not looking over your shoulder. I'm giving you the quiz so you can know, I missed that whole section. I didn't understand that. I'm going to go back and review it. Plus, there's 20 plus downloadable handouts to help you master the material. So just like the 2 graphics that we saw today, there's a lot more graphics because there's a lot more emotions that are the most common ones that we use as writers. The best part, the course is yours forever. There's no more, it's done in a month. You got to get everything you wanted to learn about. If you get busy next month or you have something in the middle of the month or an event that you have, it's still yours. You can still go back. The replays are yours, the question and answers are yours, all the handouts, etc. It's yours. Now, if you're ready, because you've been part of this challenge, you get a 20% discount on the price of that 5+ week course. Now, this offer ends midnight, Monday, April 24th, Pacific Daylight Time. And this is the link, and Tech Guy will post that in our Facebook group too, that we're in now, so that you can click directly on it. But this link will give you that 20% discount. On top of that, you can pay for that with a single payment or 12 monthly payments. It's your choice. I understand working with budgets. And again, this is the savings coupon. And he will post that on our Facebook group. Now, body language, just look at the assignment from yesterday, how it changed people's writing. And it's a game changer. Now, there were some speed bumps, but of course there's going to be speed bumps, because when we try something once, it doesn't mean that we've got it down. So when you have 5-6 weeks of trying it and exercises and do the exercise again, and you get to move your writing. You get to move it beyond those boring cliches. You get to learn how nonverbal communication can build that conflict, can show characterization, can add emotion, and so much more. And you get to use, it's 5 weeks. Now, if you sign up today, you get into the classroom today. So you can start. You don't have to wait until the first day of class to start reading and reviewing the lectures. So it's about not just being told you need to do this or being told by me how to fix it. It will be about applying to your work so that you can see where your default is and how it can trip you up. And we can have defaults in a lot of ways. Default can be something like, crap, I forget to watch the point of view, or I only added one additional word and it might not be enough for the type of story that I'm writing. So that's why getting input can make a difference. Plus, there's a bonus week. I knew there were 6 weeks of material. So that's the bonus week. You get 6 weeks of material, and we do 5 weeks of the course. So there is a boatload. There's about differences between men and women, how to write characters of the opposite sex. There is how do you write. This is where you get your questions that are, okay, I thought I was doing this right, Mary, but I don't understand this part. So you basically have somebody there. On top of that, and this I think is one of the coolest things, the group, I keep it small. I think there's 5 spaces left in this particular class. You're amongst other writers who want what you want. Other writers who are committed to spending the time, spending their focus on becoming better. So there's a chance to go back and forth with one another. And some of you here have been in the plotting course that for romance writers that was in February. Some of you have been in the sexual tension course. And you know firsthand how having insights from other writers who are also readers and from around the world. There are always folks from around the world in the course. And what this does is it allows you to see what you might take for granted when you're writing, that of course somebody understands what this an acronym means, or what this reference to something happening in England means, or what this reference in Spain actually means. So it's available. The 20% discount is through the 24th, which I believe is next week. And if you have any questions, you can email me directly at mary@marybuckham.com or assistant@marybuckham.com. I will get both emails and to answer any questions you might have. Now, back to what we're going through now in this challenge. If you have questions, make sure you have that hashtag BLQ when you post a general question. If you're posting a question about something that's not about the body language, given the amount of postings from everybody and the homework to go through, I can't answer questions about that doesn't directly reference information about body language or this particular challenge. So I apologize in advance. There's only one of me, and I want to get through as many people's posting as possible. So getting sidetracked into a different topic, I will let you know that it's probably, this is what we're doing versus that, so that we're not confusing your fellow classmates and we're not going off on a tangent on all sorts of different issues. So if you have any questions, again, All right, we went a little bit, we went 15 minutes after, but that's not bad. I'm here to help you see what you may not see in your own pages. And if you've had the time, literally look through the responses to other students and see, I may be doing that same problem. And that can help you move beyond where you are or where you were when you started this challenge just a few days ago. So, any more questions about either the emotions that we talked about today, or about body language in general, or about what is the 5+ weeks with material involved? So I'll go ahead and sign out now then. And we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow is our last day together. And we'll have new lecture. We will not have new assignment tomorrow, simply so I can get done with everyone's previous assignments. And before we move on. So again, there are 5 slots left in our 5+ weeks to study body language. If you want to make a difference, this is the one time a year that it's offered. And one of those slots can be yours. So take care. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the great work that you're doing and the assignments that you are posting, because everyone gets to learn. So take care, and I will see you tomorrow, those that can make it.